So good morning, folks. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. This is the national television service of the Liberia Broadcasting System, and this morning we are live from the Golden Key Hotel here in Painesville, just a stone throw away from the Samuel Kandu Sport Complex. And this hotel, the asset recovery team, they had their head office being stationed here. So I'm here with my colleagues, Damoa Fofana, Masiame Conan, who is behind camera, and my name is Ais Ndiba, and we are here to provide a live coverage of what is termed as a major press conference by the asset recovery team. As you may be aware, on March 6, 2024, the asset recovery team was set up by an executive order number 12016, the Asset Recovery and Property Retrieval Task Force, that's the ARET, to establish the whereabouts of government's properties. Some were stolen allegedly, and some are being traced by the asset recovery team of people who actually were in possession of some of government asset. So here today we're going to be bringing you a live press conference that is expected to start any moment from now, but we tried to give you why we are here, to give you an update about a press conference that is scheduled for 10 o'clock this morning, and so we are already here. But very briefly, to some of the mandates of the asset recovery team. They are there to identify, to trace, and to investigate fixed and liquid government assets that have been wrongfully acquired, converted to private use, sold off, or transferred abroad by current and former government officials. So this is exactly what the asset recovery team is set up to do, and they might have gotten some information about the recovery team. It's been a while now since the team was set up. Imagine talking about March 6, 2024, and we are here to get concrete news coming from the asset recovery team about indictment on some of the folks they trace and some of the properties they have retrieved. But let me get to my colleague Dama Fofana, who is here, and she will briefly speak on the topic about, and then we will move into the hall to bring you the live press conference. Dama, I want to say welcome, good morning.
So thank you, and thanks to the viewers up there. And we are right here in the compound of the Golden Keys Hotel, where the asset recovery are about to host a press conference, but yet we don't know the full weight of this press conference. But we stay await the host of the press conference. But the asset recovery, as Ayasin said earlier, was mandated in March last year by His Excellency Joseph Imamboka to put into place the right and legal framework for the recovery of assets wrongfully required by current and former government officials. So President Boka stated that the order is issued with the intent to retrieve, recover, and restore and reinstate fixed and liquid assets from within and outside Liberia that have been converted to private use by unsuspicious government officials and employees who were placed in positions of trust. So the decision aims to address the converting public assets to private use while in position of power. So that is it for those who are in government position, and you have properties that were given to you by government, and after your term you decide to take it personally and you didn't return it back to the government office, and this is why this organization is established under this government to put into place that what is not belong to you, it should be return back when you are leaving. Don't take it with you. So we are here for the press conference to give you the update of what is going to happen here.
So, folks, you listen to my colleague Damo Afufana. Initially, the task force will obviously you firstly have to identify government properties. I recall when the task force was set up, one key officials of the previous government who came in contact with the asset recovery team was the former police director, Colonel Patrick Sulu, and that issue was trending back then, and there are a whole lot of issues Liberian will discuss in private and in open about some of the folks who worked in government and who are currently. We want to change our location a little bit because of the sun, so we'll move gradually towards the conference hall where the press conference is scheduled to take place. But yes, there are a whole lot of conversation in the public space about folks who worked in government and who are currently working in government. Some of their properties are being questioned, how you acquire properties in the past and how you go about acquiring property as an official of government is something that is of major concern to the public. So we don't want to preempt what will be said in the press conference. That will be very unfair and unjust to the folks at the asset recovery. So they are the statutory body responsible for informing us about government asset recovery and retrieval. But what I'm hearing is that there is an indictment for either two officials, former officials, or current officials of government, but we are not clear on that. So during the press conference, you're going to listen to the team at the asset recovery. Already you see journalists from various media institutions, both print, electronic, are converging here to make sure they can give you the news as the asset recovery folks will want to deliberate. So they are also tasked with initiating criminal prosecution or civil litigation on behalf of the government of Liberia to recover such asset, and they will seize, they will freeze, confiscate, or impose travel or other restrictions on individuals on an investigation, including cooperating with international mechanisms such as the Interpol to repatriate asset or extradite suspects located outside of Liberia's borders or jurisdiction. So this is exactly the mandate of the asset recovery team. And so folks, for those of you who have been saying that the asset recovery team is dormant, their work you may not see it physically in the public, as you see other government ministry and agency working in the public space. So they are going to people, inviting people personally. So it will not be where the asset recovery team to invite a former official or a current official of government at their facility or their head office, and then they want to put it on camera, like going live, like what they are about to do to this. So you won't know whether they are actually working, but their job is actually behind the scene. And once they have all the necessary documents to indict, then they come to the public glare to have what we are about to see today as a major press conference and some of the names that you will hear and why the indictment is being drawn down.
Yes, as you just said that, even those people that will be arrested or being invited for a press conference or investigation, they are all Liberians. So you are not just going to pick them up and just take them anyway. The process have to go through legal and processing and know who should be invited, who should be arrested, and who should be called for investigation. So all those processes have to be put into place legally before you call the people for assets. And then after that, they are working. So that is one of the means of you to know that the asset recovery under President Joseph Walker administration is highly working. And you will see today the conference will show you who will be invited here and what is going to be talk on the conference. So we will come down shortly. This is just a build up and we'll wait for the press conference.
So, like folks, like we say, this is a build up to the Asset Recovery Task Force press conference that is to be held shortly here at the Golden Key Hotel. It's in Painesville, just a stone throw away from the Samuel Kando Sports Complex. And we are bringing this bill up to have you informed that there is a major press conference which is about to start any moment from now, because it's already 1 minute past 10 o'clock. And the press conference initially was scheduled for 10 o'clock on the dot. But yes, we are not the one organizing this press conference, so we're going to play by the tune of the asset recovery. But this is a build up to the actual press conference, and I'm here with two of my colleagues, Damo Afufana, Masiame Kone, who is actually behind camera and making sure that this broadcast is brought to you live and direct. This is the national television service of the Liberia Broadcasting System, and we are here to bring you this all-important press conference. So we want to bring this broadcast to a closure, and then right after this broadcast, we will resume with the official broadcast that is coming from the conference room here at the asset recovery. So stick and stay with us, don't go away, because we are just here to give you what you actually deserve in terms of information, and one of many will be the press conference by the asset recovery team, and making sure that yes, this information is brought to you live and direct from the national television. It all started in March of 2024, March 6, 2024, when His Excellency President Joseph Boyka issued an executive order 126 mandating the Asset Recovery and Property Retrieval Task Force, that's the ARET, to go ahead and locate, retrieve, discover, seize all government assets that were actually stolen, some illegally and some willfully, because this is a matter of court issue. Some will actually want to come in the defense to say this is my legitimate property, and so it's a long ball game. And then we will want to bring this broadcast to a closure to go in the hall to bring you the press conference. So thanks for watching. My name is Aishin Liba, Damo Afufana, and Masiame Kone.
Asset Recovery and Property Retrieval Task Force. As you may know, this institution was created by President Walker under Executive Order 126 and also strengthened under Executive Order 145. And following that, the institution has been rigorously involved into a series of investigations. And before I move any further, we have the Vice Chairperson of AREP, Dr. Rennie Jackson, and we have here the Chairman of the Asset Recovery and Property Retrieval Task Force, Councillor Edwin Clark Martin, the man leading the fight here at AREP. So, as you may know, many of you are here due to the announcement made on our Facebook page this morning concerning two indictments that were issued this morning. So definitely we're going to be hearing details on what AREP was investigating and the findings of AREP's investigations that resulted into the indictment. So ladies and gentlemen of the press, not to take most of the time, let me introduce Councillor Edwin Clark Martin, who will address you. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, the press, we are happy to have you at our offices situated and located in Peaceville City, precisely Kingrey community. We also want to welcome you to this office that we have made as our central point to hold major investigations and to apply the necessary corridors in the due process of law. I want to say welcome and to give you updates on our progress made, the achievement thus far, with respect to our investigations and other international engagement that we have had since our new mandate was restored this year, March 2025. As you be aware, the Asset Retrieval and Property Tax Force was announced by His Excellency President Joseph Yemabwaka specifically to recover, trace, and identify suspicious assets, stolen assets being banked or developing real property in the Republic of Liberia or South Liberia. That intent and purpose of the President is to ensure that corruption is fought at all levels, and to also ensure that our country set a benchmark for people to only take what they are entitled to. And things that you have taken illegally without legal entitlement, you'll be placed on an oath to answer questions. On this note, asset recovery in March 2024 was concerned basically about some properties that you consider suspicious because of our mandate. And those properties have to include the gracious right that we decided to place on an investigation. In that process of investigating gracious right, to authenticate whether or not a hard title document to be attached to the owner as to a suspicious nature, we had to go to the Congress Supreme Court by the action of Gracious Rai, General Manager Francis Blanco, who filed an in-re unconstitutionality challenging the President's powers under Article 5C to establish AREP. That process and procedure, as you are aware, lasted for 9 months, thus making AREP to be ineffective in conducting this investigation on the subject that was involved. Howbeit, given our legal experience and our capability to challenge the petitioner in these proceedings, we were at the Supreme Court and challenged that by arguing that the fundamental rights consistent with the rights of the President under Article 5C granted the President that power to establish AREP so as to effectuate and effect the prosecution of corruption crimes. Based upon our argument, the Supreme Court ruled and denied the petitioner, which is Gracious Rai, and we commence our investigation therefrom. In the process of conducting our investigation of Gracious Rai, we apply all the due process of law. we apply all the due process of law, that is, giving them the right to appear and answer questions. And unfortunately, they wrote us and declined that they would not attend any investigation, and any matter arising from our investigation, we should proceed to court. I will deny hesitate, but use the due process in collecting all pieces of evidence linking to Bishop's bride. In the collection of our evidence, it was established that not only Bishop's bride, but another company was established known as Anita Group of Company Incorporated, and CEO is Anita Pamela Jala, who happens to be the daughter of Mana Noro Finabuno. That company was established by her, and the records of that company banking record show that Mana Noro Finabuno was a corporate secretary to the banking account of that company. That company established several suspicious accounts and transactions with the intent to clean money that were allegedly taken from government using hopefuls. Another company that was established by them is Anita Business Center. That company also was managed by another Ellis Jackson. And that company was a sole proprietorship. It was a sole proprietorship owned by them. The corporate documents again of that company in the name of Nova Finabono. Our investigation showed Our investigation showed that she served as corporate secretary to the account of Anita Business Center. Anita Business Center and the Anita Group of Company has several accounts, more than 10 several accounts through which several millions in Liberian dollar and US dollar were being done, and we gave you that figure. Our findings also show that in the process of laundering this money, there were several key factors who participated in all those accounts, amounting to 40 persons who participated in those several accounts, the suspicious accounts that was established by them. Our investigation went further to find out the purpose and intent why these money were being moved. And we realized that there were no traceable business by the two companies. Where this money came from, amounting to millions of dollar transaction in Liberian dollars, the company cannot answer these questions for which they have been indicted. Owing to this fact, and owing to all these principles and reasons for which we hold them culpable, we realize that the total transaction in all the several suspicious accounts in US dollar amount to $6,731,441. I repeat, the total transaction in United States dollar in all the fictitious accounts by Anita Group of Company, Anita Business Center, and its Bishop Bride amount to USD $6,731,441. The total transaction in Liberian dollar for all these several accounts amount to $845,845,000 $845,240,057. So this is to show to you that from 2020 to 2024, what these people gather just by serving in this public position. No source of any wealth, no source of any business, no source of any acquisition of private business before coming to power. But just in 4 years, or 5 years, or 6 years, the person's total asset in business transaction amounts to more than $6 million and more than $800 million Liberian dollars. Based on these findings and conditions as mentioned, investigation also realized that in this transaction, several persons were involved into deposit and into credit. Several persons were being used as agents of that syndicate to move suspicious money. And all those agents that were involved, we have held them as co-conspirators of the act of money laundering. We have other companies that were involved. Masako Auto Spare Service involved in the sale of motorbikes. By and through its general manager, Sir F. Johnson Sr., was also involved through our investigation. He was captured of moving millions, thousands of dollars in the account of the welfare bundle through Anita and Anita Business Center. He has also been captured by our investigation, and subsequently, based upon that, an indictment was drawn up by and through the Republic of Liberia Asset Recovery, and the grand jury came up with a true bill, holding them culpable for the crimes to include Norofina Bondo, Anita Pamela Jala, CEO of Anita Group of Companies, Francis Blambo, Sir Johnson, and 40 others for the commission of the crime of money laundering, theft of property, misuse of public fund, criminal conspiracy, forgery, abuse of public office, and violation of the Public Procurement and Concession Act and the Public Financial Management Act, the PFMA law. As I speak to you, the indictment was served this morning, and from my intelligence, one of the co-conspirators in this proceeding, Mr. Edward Pompo, who worked as the Minister of Commerce, has been arrested and now forwarded to the Memorial Central Prison. Thank you. Forwarded to the Memorial Central Prison and said he can file his proper appearance bond to the court in keeping with law. Also arrested was Johnson of Masako Incorporated, and he has also been forwarded to Memorial Central Prison from my intelligence I've gathered from my officers on the field. Ladies and gentlemen of the press, Liberia is at a crossroad. This is not about witch hunt. This is about time that we all take full charge of our country's development and to ensure that Liberia regain its dignity in the community of nation. This is no time to waste. We got to take on corruption head on and to ensure that all assets stolen, suspicious, or just acquired in the twinkle of an eye, you have to give an account. And that account is not through violence, is not through wish hunt, is by the due process of law. The second of our case has to do with MDMC buying through SCO John Yabuti. On September 12, 2023, John Yabuti, who served as CEO, entered into a contract, a renovation contract of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, buying through the acting Deputy Minister, Banatelma Duncan Sawyer, who signed for and on behalf of the government of Liberia. Investigation showed that the implementation and the execution of that contract was poorly done. We acquired Mr. Yabuti and his company due process, but they waived the right to appear to answer as to the variance that we developed and captured from our independent investigation. To do that, we hired a private firm to do an independent assessment of the entire work that was done on the building. And reports show that the amount of $851,136.13 cannot be accounted for. The work was not done. So, Mr. Yabuti and his project manager, to include the acting minister then, Telmo E. Duncan Sawyer, were indicted for the commission of the crime, theft of property, criminal facilitation, and criminal conspiracy. The work of Arab is not to go after people for crimes that they have not done. If you carry out a careful evaluation of how this investigation went, you will notice and know that some people that were invited and investigated were dropped because the evidence were not sufficient to hold them accountable. But albeit, we are resolved to move our investigation forward, in that there were several assets acquired in the first money laundering scheme, which we consider as proceeds of the crime, by former Chief of Protocol and her daughter Anita Pamela Jala. We now give you the opportunity to look at the screen, and we'll show you proceeds and properties that were acquired. There are more properties. There are more properties. But we want to show you few that we have investigated and established sufficient grounds as those properties that were acquired in their criminal transaction. We'll go first to the property from Browville. We'll ask our technician to show you the property from Browville. Take your time, let's set up this. Go to the private property list. This property is situated and located in Broadview. This was acquired by Banandorov in a bundle, and we have all the deeds to this property. The value of this property at the time, undeveloped, was $73,000 United States dollars. But now we are about to conduct an appraisal of this property. This property was developed from 2018. For 2018. And you can see the current trend of the property. This is the first property that we have captured from as proceeds of money laundering done by Madam Dorothy in a bundle, Familia Anita Jala, by and through the criminal syndicate, through fictitious company, Anita Group of Companies, and Anita Business Center. That is the first property there. But the current market value of the property will be developed through the Liberia Authority, which has the capability to do so. So this property now is a proceed of crime. So it's under our spotlight. Let's go to the second property. This property has 12 units. The property has 12 units, as you can see. And this property was procured in 2024 at the value of $137,000 United States dollars. But this property was just developed in a year to be at this stage. So the current market value of this property exceeds the purchase value. And this property is also a proceed of all the transactions that were conducted criminally. Let's go to the other property. Okay, this is the real estate. The property also, the value of this property acquired in 2022 of $120,000. So all these properties were acquired in a period from 2018 to 2024. 2018 to 2024. The value we are giving you, that is the cash value paid for the land. But the cost of to develop the property will be done subsequently to that will inform the price. Let's go to the third one, the fourth one. The fourth one now had to do with Gracious Ride. Gracious Ride is the number of Texas is 42 pieces. And the total value, not considering the profit they made in transportation, we're also calculating that. The total value of the property exceeds $400,000 United States dollars. So we just want to give you a picture that Arab running behind yellow taxi, Arab running behind old ratting cars. No. The press now can now understand the level of work and the level of investigation we have done over the period. To show you all these properties that are not given only by heart, but we can substantially say that we have evidence linking Madam Bono, the company for which she served as corporate signature to the banking accounts, and Pamela Anita Jala, the company for which she served as CEO. In all the criminal transactions that was done, we have identified 4 major suspicious assets. And now by this identification, we have also traced the title ownership of the asset to Malabono and the companies for which she served as corporate secretary to the banking accounts. So I want to draw your attention to these acquisitions that were made. We want to disabuse the minds of some Liberians that have negative propaganda against Arab, that we are witch hunting people of the previous administration. Absolutely no, we are not. Our duty is to ensure that we bring to light and to the light of the Liberian people that things that you did not own. You did not own before coming to power, and in less than 4 years, these are not all the properties. For intelligence sake, we not gave you the number of properties that we also identify with currently ongoing investigation. There are several real estate that we have identified and currently ongoing investigation. So I want to show this to you that the investigation has not ended. We have brought to light the criminal act of these people for which they have been indicted and arrested. What we are now going to do is the recovery aspect of these properties. So I want to inform you and to have you to rest assured that everything will be done within our powers and will be the mandate given to us by Executive Order 145, which is constitutional, that those mandates will be applied to the letter. This is just the first case. This is just the first case, fellow Liberians and members of the press. I know some of you today are shocked to see what you are seeing here. This is not a manufactured thing that we've done. We have evidence to show for a link to these properties. So what we are saying is that we want to say to you, members of the press, that there are more to be done. We trust you, we trust your capability. We know you'll do your best to report some of these corruption cases. And when they are reported, rest assured that your name, your image, and your identity will not be disclosed. Do this for your country, fellow Liberians. Liberia needs you now. This is a new dispensation and a new era to change our country. If you calculate the proceeds of all these properties, give you the raw cash, this alone will refurbish the GFK. This alone will refurbish the Redemption Hospital in the Nuku Town. But this one man packing, excluding cash that we have called to you. These are all real properties that you see for yourself. The purpose of ARA, as I said, is not to vision. It's not to go after people falsely. But we make sure that all those that are caught within similar situation will be investigated. Our case docket. The last time I met the press and I spoke at the Ministry of Information, we had 20 cases on our docket. Now it has increased to 40. 40 cases on our docket. There are properties that you see here every day, placed in the name of companies. Those are fake companies. Those are fake companies. And we know the owners who have those companies and place the properties in the company name. For the last 10 years, ARA have been working. We have collected evidence back to 10 years on movement of money and construction of properties. Now what they have cleverly done, excuse me, what they have cleverly done is to move suspicious money into farmland and acquiring big properties in farming. We know all those farmland. We know where they are. We know the source of their money. And definitely they will be exposed to the Liberian people. We have our evidence already. We are not here to joke. This government has empowered us. The president has given us his unflinching support and the presidential will to do this job. This is the first of its kind in the Republic of Liberia to do what we're doing. But check our neighboring countries. Look at Freetown. Read about Freetown asset recovery. Read about Ghana asset recovery. And read about Nigeria asset recovery, what they are doing. We have just initiated our process. We want to let the Liberian people know that this process will be successful. These properties will be retrieved and placed in the name of government. All those through this media that listen to me that have acquired suspicious property and big properties over the last 4 years and 6 years and 10 years, we are calculating your legal income and that you are entitled to. And once I exceed that, the property will be captured and investigated. And once we can establish the evidence and link the property to you, we will go for them, as we'll be doing to this month. So our intent was not to run after yellow tessie, ratting yellow tessie. But you see to the one behind the yellow tessie. The press have clearly seen what behind the yellow tessie. So we were not running behind yellow tessie, we were running behind the thing behind the yellow tessie. You listen to the catch, the evidence there in court. And you listen, you saw pictorially the evidence through the presentation on the screen. Those real estate. So I want to say that we will not relent. The president will hold me to my word, will not relent. I know some people here have been firing back at me. I said it's Vlad. That's also Vlad. So people have been firing back. But today we're not Vlad. We're not Vlad now. We turn to the active boy in town. And you can rest assured that all those that have been indicted in these 2 cases will be prosecuted. Everything that they have acquired criminally will be recovered. This is just one of our testament to what we intend to do. As I indicated, there are several properties that we have discovered. And there are several other properties that we have discovered for other people. But rest assured that we will do the best within our powers to make sure that all those that are involved will be brought to justice. In closing, Arab is not here to wish on anyone. That is not our duty. Our duty is to ensure that the right thing in this country be done. And I think it was not an error for the president to nominate us to put us here. Because come what may, we are fearless, we are bold, and we are uncompromising. We ensure that the right thing in this country is done. This is why I don't have friends. Make sure that once you are caught in the web of taking government money and taking suspicious money to acquire suspicious property over the last 10 or 20 years, you will account for those properties. This country has to change. This country has to develop. Look at our roads today. Look at our schools in the very countryside. Look at where we are. Today people don't have pipe-borne water. People don't have electricity. The country of only 5 billion people, why should we suffer? And 1 million acquire more than $6 million United States dollars just in 4 years. And more than 700 million Liberian dollars in less than 4 years. That is our responsibility to make sure that the playing field now becomes level. No one moving forward will do this and no one punish. I can show the Liberian people, I can show the press that will do everything within our reach to make sure that the right thing is done. I want to inform the press through this medium that contracts that were to MDNC should be cancelled. Contracts awarded to MDMC now should be cancelled because MDMC has now been indicted along with its CEO, and awarding their contract by this government will arm them sufficiently to fight back at our process that we are doing. We cannot be under criminal prosecution and benefit from government. No. The contracts, all contracts awarded to MDMC should be reconsidered and cancelled. On this note, I want to say thank you for coming. And our offices are open. Like I indicated, there are 2 indictments, one on money laundering and other financial crimes. That to include former Chief of Protocol, Republic of Liberia, Dorothy Nabondo, her daughter Pamela Anita Jala, and 40 others have been indicted for the commission of the crime of money laundering, theft of property, misuse of office, and etc. The second indictment had to do with MDMC by and through CEO John Yabuti and former Deputy Minister, Acting Minister of Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the theft of $851,000 that cannot be accounted for the renovation of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That same money is part of the Saudi money, the $200 million that was donated, $2.5 million that was $2.5 million that was donated to the government of Liberia. $500,000 were in rice. The last indictment was on the issue of rice, the Saudi rice, for which we indicted the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, the former Minister of State, former Minister of Internal Affairs, and others that were also caught in the misuse, mismanagement, misapplication, theft, and diverting that rest into the personal use. They are already being indicted for that. So as I speak to you, Aaron now has 3 cases before court, and we hope to commence our first case in this November term, and that is the rest case. We have to make sure that that amount that was stolen in rice, we need to recover that, because that can also be used for the National Disaster Management Agency that has the entitlement to that amount. We are well aware about the natural disaster that occur in our country. The disaster aid cannot come to the country and be managed by few officials of government. So I want to say thank you for coming. God bless you.
Okay, thank you very much. The chairman will catch his breath while we entertain a few questions. Now we will have 2 sets of questions. The first 5. And after the chairman responds, we'll take the second 5 set of questions to listen in detail there on information concerning the 2 indictments that were unsealed today. And as we speak, arrests are being made. The chairman mentioned that here is a statement to you. So you raise your hand and 1 question per person. You take the first 5. Chairman responds, and we'll take the second, and that is it.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. My name is Daniel Slanger. I report for Spoon Network. And I listened to you mention those who were arrested based on the indictment, but I didn't hear the name of the former Chief of Protocol Republic of Liberia and her daughter from the Anita Group of Companies and Anita Business Center. What's the update concerning their arrest? We hear information whether or not there is Interpol red alert or anything. Do you care to inform Liberians concerning that status as well?
Thank you, Daniel, and happy to see you. First time seeing you.
Pleasure.
Like I indicated previously, there are 40 persons on that indictment, and one happens to be one Edward Pompon that we just arrested from the Ministry of Commerce. He worked with the Ministry of Commerce. So by that instant and that arrest, I mean the indictment is sealed. So this is why I'm speaking to you. If there were no arrest, I would not have spoken to you. The arrests have been made. So but now they are at large. By law, they are at large. And the appropriate legal thing to do And that which has been given to us by law is to apply all international restrictions and Interpol procedure to make sure that we bring them under jurisdiction of the court. And as I speak to you, we also made application for travel ban, which we call the ESA Republica, that will also be issued by the court, and they will be in Liberia until the prosecution is over. We will work on that, those technical details, and whatsoever they are, we ensure that they be turned over to the Republic of Liberia for prosecution. Rest assured that we have the international capability. Our partners, all in the United States and in the UK, are following, as we speak to you, they are following this press conference, and they are in full support, as well as the government of Liberia in full support of us to ensure that this country fights corruption to the letter. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so, Chairman, my name is Archie Sebob, and I report for Blaze FM and TV radio. But first of all, we appreciate you for the effort thus so far. Like you said in your release, the Liberian people, and there are many perceptions that the task force is just a mere bluff about just running after yellow taxis, as you mentioned. So, what measure is this institution instituting that to convince the conscience of Liberians that it's not just about mere attack on previous government officials? And are you also focusing on present government officials who have come to power in less than no time, also acquiring wealth?
Thank you. You know, in the past 6 months, criminal and financial investigations are not done in the twinkle of an eye. This is why, quote unquote, people are saying that asset recovery of VLA, asset recovery inactive, asset recovery sitting down, so finally not doing anything. In criminal investigation and in financial crime investigation have to do with the movement of money, and which also relates to the proceeds of crime, money laundering, other financial crime violation. They are processes. Even the acquisition and the gathering of evidence, they are processes. Because for me to take evidence on you, I'm going to do it through the due process of law. So we cannot disclose to you where we are when it comes to current officials of government who, as you claim, have amassed wealth just in a short period of time. I want to let you know that all these pieces of evidence, when they come to us, we take our own time to evaluate and to see how best we can put them under the spotlight of investigation. As I said, no one is above the law. Here, no one is above the law. We go after you based upon the evidence that we have. If the evidence is sufficient enough, their culpability to hold you, will go after you. But if there is no evidence to hold you, definitely will not go after you. But rest assured that nobody is above the law.
Yeah, my name is Frederick T. and I report for ELBC. If ARP is successful in recovering these assets, how will you ensure that these assets are not stolen?
What we intend to do is we are working along with our partners in the government of Liberia. We want to establish, especially when it comes to the issue of the funding that we will recover. We make sure that we develop a system through which that they will not be recycled, and make sure that, because you know, all around the world, corruption proceeds are used for tangibles. Sometimes used to build schools, used to build hospitals, used to build roads, and you see that if you travel to Nigeria or Sierra Leone or Ghana, you see some of the projects that go on the proceeds from anti-corruption. So this is why we intend to initiate in Liberia. That they will not go back just for salary, no. Want to use it to build hospital as proceeds from anti-corruption.
Okay, I'm Carmen Lomo. I report for the News Public Trust. I'm concerned about the first indictment that was June from the solid rice. Mary brought part of that indictment, but we are not seeing her in, like, reporting to the court. Has she been dropped from the indictment? And secondly, does your asset recovery also have statute of limitation? Because you're talking about 20 years. You're going to investigate people who allegedly stole government properties, maybe like the past 20 years. Do you have statute of limitation on that?
The law provides that you are barred on the statute of limitation where there is notice.
Yeah.
Whether issue has been brought to the notice of the state and the state did not act in keeping with law, you are barred by the statute of limitation. But where there is no notice, there is no information about that, and there's a theft that occurred through money laundering, and people acquire wealth, anything. And once that can be brought to our attention now, we will take that off, and if the statute of limitation is brought for in court as an affirmative defense, as lawyer, we will challenge it in keeping with law.
So I've rather asked about Mirabel issue, whether she had been dropped from the case, because
there's no notice for me. I'm a lawyer. I speak on notice. There's no notice that has been served to the public that Mirabel has been dropped. If you have that notice as evidence, you should.
So, thank you, Chairman. My name is Yaka Koita, and I report for the Heritage newspaper. I want to know your access recovery or limitation. Are you also tracing assets abroad, or what are some challenges? If you are tracing assets abroad, what are some challenges you face in recovering stolen assets that have been built or saved abroad?
Thank you. As I speak to you, we have made several gains on major identification and tracing of assets abroad, and because of this sensitive nature, we don't want to disclose to you where we are currently. But as I speak to you, that we have made several gains on that in several countries, and even into foreign banks. There was a series of identification as done here today that we displaced to you. That there are even being fictitious companies established in foreign countries, West Africa and Africa and Europe, South America. And our partners are extremely working with us to make sure that those things are brought to light. Because for the mere fact that these people go and establish frontiers and move money through these channels, as was done. If you check out all the articles in corporation, you will not see Madame Bono. Check out the business registration document, you will not see Madame Bono. When you go into the corporate account, who the authorized signature to move the money upon Madame Bono. You see that criminal syndicate? All the African incorporation, you don't see them. But when you dive into the bank, where the proceeds of the crime is deposited, you see them. Their identity, their photograph, their signature, and even copy of the passport on those documents. So we speak here today with bold evidence, unchallenged evidence. We want to tell you that this is not only for Liberia, but we want abroad as well. Thank you.
Yes. Oh. Yes,
Yeah, Chairman, my name is Sarkandu, and I report for Cool. In your statement, you said that there were some cases that the task force didn't have sufficient evidence, so they had to drop those cases against those people that were indicted. Now that you are linking from Nabona, do you have sufficient evidence? And secondly, what is the status of these properties that you have displayed? Are they being seized already?
No, we're not saying that we didn't have sufficient evidence. We say investigation. There were a series of people that came to our investigation on these two cases. But it depends on the role you play. If the evidence is not sufficient to hold you, we'll not hold you. Because we don't want to wish, as people say, wish on no. If the evidence is not sufficient, not cogent enough to hold you, no, we'll drop you. So that investigation process, not indictment process. Okay, you said what you mean?
The status of these properties that you displayed, are they being seized already?
They are still private owned, but we have identified them just to show to the public that these are the proceeds of the crime that we have identified. So we take the next step legally. And our next step will be visible soon.
We'll take 3 more. I'll go back to Dama.
Yes, sir. Dama again from Spoon Network. So I've listened to you keenly talk about you brought in a private firm to do appraisal in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs case. What we're interested in knowing is you mentioned witch hunt on several occasions, and definitely people will bring that up. In terms of these investigations, which some part is forensic, have you had international or independent help in getting these forensic or financial investigations done? And my second part of my question is, with this press conference slated just as the president arrived in the country, is it coincidental or intentional? Thank you.
I don't even know when the president will come in. I don't work with the executive mansion, so on that question, I can't answer that because I'm far from the executive mansion. The only time I'm called upon to brief, then I go there, but I don't know. I'm not a protocol officer to know when the president will arrive in. When it comes to the issue of forensic investigation through the aid of international friends, you were here the last time we came in with FTR consultants, and those are the anti-fraud investigators based in the UK. They are specialized in the fraud examination. They are also specialized into forensic money movement. They are specialized in money laundering. They can trace account, even if it's in the name of 2 days old baby or 3 months old baby, they can trace it. So we God being on our side, and they do this without any cash attachment. They are making their contribution to the country based on the fact that the president is prepared and willing to fight corruption, and they are being in this business over 30 years. So they have volunteered the services to aid Liberia. And on that note, they came to Liberia and they provided us support. And as we speak to you, we are in touch with them by Zoom. And we also have another round engagement with them on another big tracing that we've done also outside in the international world. And that, in the shortest period of time, the Liberian people use will be informed with that. Yeah.
I'm Domingo. I write for the In-Profile newspaper. Honourable Chairman, I'm much more concerned. What new are you bringing? How can you assure Liberians that you are going to win 2, 3, or some of these cases? We will not be the same normal thing that after spending taxpayer money on all of these cases, bringing witnesses, at the end government losing these cases at the court. What difference are you bringing to make sure you assure Liberians that you will win these cases?
The difference I will bring here is that the executive will. We have an executive will, and once you have that branch of government that are giving you unflinching support to combat corruption, rest assured that that is not the episode that was in the past. No, this time around is different. That's why I say this is a new dispensation of Liberia, because in the past, who could identify and say this for this person? Who could go into people and look at the asset when they acquire various banking accounts? Who could do that? But today we have the opportunity to do it and to bring it to the spotlight that we have indicted this man on XYZ reason. So that is the issue. The indictment is there, is now on CU. You will have the opportunity to see it, to read it, and to take up all the pieces of the content, the environment, the counts, also the role play by all the 40 persons, the role play by Norfina Bono, the role play by Anita Pemela Jala, the role play by Masako, the role play by Edward Pompon, and all the indictees rule are all spelled out in the indictment. And you also see the level of deposits and withdrawal by each individual in that indictment, through which the properties that we showed you to the worldwide, just in 4 to 5 years.
Okay, we take one more question, and after that, you have to call your day. Yes, yes.
So, Chairman, I'm Yaga again from Heritage newspaper. There are concerns of anti-corruption drive being politically motivated. How can you assure the public that this investigation or this indictment you are carrying to court, how can you show the public that you will safeguard it for politics or big end? And lastly, before I leave, what messages are you sending to public servants, those that are in government or those that want to do contract with government or what message are you sending to them when it comes to your objective to fight or to retrieve government stolen properties?
The message here is that lunch time is over. Free lunch is over. No more free lunch. Our partner, the GAC, saw what they did at when it comes to how you call it, domestic debt. Free lunch is over. There were a lot of fake companies, and we bring that to your attention. A lot of fake companies that took government contract with Bay Road, they moved one yellow machine to that place, but it took $30 to $40 million. But they didn't move one machine. In the engineering team mobilization, they didn't move one machine. But yet still they acquire government money. So we have the opportunity now, as I'm saying that this is a new dispensation, we have the opportunity now to make sure that all these things are brought to light. I was saying the free bunch is over. Anybody doing business now with fake company to move money, let's assure that your days are numbered. We'll come after you. Thank you.
Okay, Chairman, maybe you want to say something for close?
So thank you for coming, and we hope that you always visit our offices. If you have questions, you ask us. You know, asset recovery, the entity is friendly, press friendly. As you all know, your colleague here as a PR for asset recovery. So for me, I don't give my telephone number out, but you can call him, and anything you have about us, you can ask questions. And don't dwell on BSC, DC. It's not good for the press. Make sure that your evidence is cogent enough, your facts are established. Because when you hear say they say you can't relate it to the last process of the result. So our offices are open. You're welcome to contact us on issue. But please, we'll also appreciate from you if you hear anything, you have any information, any intelligence, please share with us. Your information will not be disclosed because you are the watchdog of the society. You are here to critique the society. So please, as you are announcing, I know most of you are shocked to see what we see here today. It has never happened before. So we beg you, anything that you know, any suspicious property that you know, just send it to us, and your name and identity will not be disclosed. If you do that, you do it for your country. All you put here, there's no foreign journalists who are all like media experts. I say media experts because you have the expertise to do it. I will be here, Daniels longer on the radio and personal scene. You know, I appreciate all you people for your expertise. You know, I know that you do a good job for your country. Please, let's do it for your country now. It's our country, I don't know how many years, 170 something years, but we can look at this. We can look at this. So this is about time that we stand up for our country. When it's time to criticize, we criticize. It's time to do the correct thing, let's do the correct thing for our country. Liberia needs you. Liberia needs me. Liberia needs all of us. So once the best thing is done, the major problem in Liberia is to fight corruption. Once we can fight corruption, all these things will not move. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.